Hi, today we're going to work on the shoulders. We are going to take a look at a different aspect of working with the shoulders. And this is, a good follow-up video for the one that we worked on last week, where we talk about basics of getting, a little bit of work in the shoulders so that we can do these yoga poses painlessly and start really looking at what's going on and how can we open the shoulders and work from a place where we're not causing more injury. And so I've linked it down in the description below. It's the part 1 video of the yoga shoulder series. So if you want to check that out, you can. If not, this one can be watched independently of the first part. And we're just going to go take a deeper dive into the shoulders and what we can do to start opening up the shoulders and getting them to be, more painless, I guess. Okay, and so this video is also a remake of yesterday's class because we taped the whole class and we didn't have any audio. So hopefully we can go over some of the main concepts again, and this time you will have audio. Okay, so without any further introduction, let's just sit in a comfortable position, and we'll start out by closing your eyes. And when you close your eyes, or when you close the eyes, feel the softness on the lens of the eye. So inhale and soften the lens of your eye. So the more you start looking into that detail of softening the lens of the eye with every breath you inhale, as you exhale, soften the lens of the eye. And bring that softness back into the back part of your skull, releasing any tension that you may have stored in the back of the head. And with the next 3 breaths, every time you inhale, not only are you softening the lens of the eye, you start softening the tongue, the root of the tongue, the throat. And then with another breath, go ahead and soften the inner ears, lift the chest, and soften the belly. With another breath, go ahead and open your eyes gently. And so this exercise, this breathing, way of breathing, you can do for much longer than 3 breaths, and start really understanding what does it mean to release tension as you're breathing. And so that when you do practice, you're not practicing it by accumulating more tension and just wanting to maybe stretch a certain way, and instead of doing it from a place of release, we do it from a place of pulling or pushing too hard and adding more tension. So then it's nice to start your practice that way and to keep this idea of releasing any tension as you practice, just to keep that in mind as a theme throughout your practice. So last time we looked at some shoulder work where we put our hand against the wall and then we turn against the hand. And so I'm going to show you one more way to do that. And we're going to start looking into a little bit of maybe mechanics of the shoulder. So last time we really looked at, maybe there's been some ossification here, or some shortening of this front of the chest. So we work on opening this, giving the shoulders a better position so that we can start doing these strengthening or stretching exercises with the shoulder from a place where we're not shortening here at the front. So this may take a few, a little bit of practice to start opening the chest and lifting the chest, and then being able to work the shoulders from there. And so what I want to look at today is this outer rotation of the arm. Okay, so outer rotation of the arm, so outer rotation of the shoulder. This here, okay, would be inner rotation. So here's the outer rotation of the arm, inner rotation of the arm. So what we're looking at is how can we rotate the arm out and how do we work like this in our poses. Okay, so if you all could do, bring your hand here and work with this outer rotation. So just do this motion here with your hand and just be gentle here and see, breathe, soften the eyes, ears, of throat, and then rotate out from that softness. So that'll be our, our kind of theme, the outer rotation of the shoulders. And when we work with the shoulders too, we're not just working here on the, if we're doing some lifting exercises, it's not just about this joint. We work the whole shoulder as a unit. And so we can work from really the center of the back. And I'll show you what that looks like. So here, I'll show you that the work comes from the center here. So I'm not just bringing the arm out, but if I work with a strap, I can use my strap and I can work the shoulder as a whole unit. So from the center of the back, I work the shoulder from the center. And so this can be a way of opening the shoulders and working the arm from the center. Hopefully you can see that in the back where, you create that space and you create it from the center and you move the unit without hurting yourself. So gently strengthen the shoulder like that. These elastic straps here, I like, they work well for this, but you can do it with a regular cotton strap as well. Okay, so now let's go to the wall and let's work on a shoulder exercise that's very easy to do and you can do it anywhere. Okay. Set up. Okay. So I will bring you over here and we'll come near a wall and you do this one standing up. So you come to near a wall here and what you're going to do is bring your arm to a 90-degree angle like this. So I'm standing here. I'm going to point the palm as far as I can down to the floor. So here's the position. And then I bring my opposite hand all the way across until I can grab the palm. Okay, so grabbing the palm here, fingers are pointing down. If this is not, if that's not possible, just use a belt and then just hold on to the belt. And with this belt, I'm just pushing the palm back just so that I have, I'm not allowing that palm to come forward. So use a belt if you need to. So I'm going to come here near the wall and I'm going to place my arm in that position, that 90-degree angle, point the fingers down, bring the other hand around and grab that palm. And so here I am making sure that this arm isn't coming down or forward too much, keeping it all in contact with the wall. So the whole 90-degree arm is in contact with the wall, especially the top of the shoulder there. Okay, so here what I'm going to do is I'm going to start moving my feet towards the opposite wall, lifting the chest. So lifting the chest here and looking towards the other wall. And I'll show you what the feet look like here. Okay. All right. Okay, so bring the hand on the wall here, and then you can see the feet slowly walking towards the opposite wall. And you can do the second side also. So arm in contact with the wall, keeping that palm stable there, and then we walk all the way around. Breathing, softening the eyes, the ears, and the throat. And, if you can just walk here, that's fine. So inhale, soften eyes, ears, and throat. As you exhale, move around, lifting the chest. Okay, so give that one a try. It's a great way to start and to start opening the arm there. Okay, so the second thing that we'll look at here is how to start developing this rotation of the arm. So again, we're going to look into this action of rotating the arm out. So we're going to find a mat and lay down on the floor. Okay, so I have a chair here, and my chair has a big kind of bar here, but if you don't have that, what you can do is you grab a belt and you can tie your belt here around the chair or around a piece of furniture that you may have. Okay. And tighten it out. Okay, and you can use it like that. And this is nice because you can change. You can put it higher up if you need it or lower down. So it will look like this. Okay, so you can work with what you have. So I'm going to leave the chair here. And what I'm going to show you is I'm going to, when I'm rotating my arm out, so I'm rotating the arm out, the palms are facing up. Okay, so your palms are facing down. I'm rotating the arm in. I'm rotating the arm out, which is what I want. Palms are up. So when I bring the arm up above my head, my outer rotation here looks like, the top part of my hand is forward. My palms are facing back. And then if I have to grab something, I'm going to be grabbing it like this. This is outer rotation. Okay, so when we start changing the position of the arm, it sometimes gets a little bit confusing. So just go back to outer rotation, palms facing up, 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 palms facing back. And when I do these exercises that I'm going to show you, I'm going to grab like this. So there's sometimes a tendency of grabbing like this, but this here is not what we want. We want this way for these exercises. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so I'm laying down here near my chair, and I have my arms and my sides. I can straighten my legs. You can see. And I'm going to bring the palms of my hand up. So rotate the palms, give myself that outer rotation, and this may be enough. Stay here for a few breaths. Inhale, soften the eyes, the ears, and the throat. And then inhale, exhale, bring your hands over to the chair and start noticing where you feel a grip around the arm here. So you're gonna inhale, soften the eyes, the lens of the eyes, the ears, the throat, and you'll start noticing where are these, muscle patterns, these gripping patterns, meaning little tightnesses of the muscle around and pain. And keep it, if it's better if your arms can be straight, not hyperextended if you have that tendency to hyperextend the elbow, but keep the arms straight here. And then slowly I'm going to bring it down to the second, I can lift the belt if I need to, but again, I want to make sure that I'm not grabbing here, that I'm using that external rotation here. If this is very difficult, then go ahead and do it one hand at a time, and then you can use the opposite hand to help you. So I'm going to show you this. So you bring the palms of the hands up, and so this is outer rotation. So if you give yourself that sensory information. So here you can hold your hand, you can hold your, you can support yourself by rotating out, and you know the correct direction to do this. And then you come out here, you grab your chair, chair's to go, and you're rotating out, and that's going to help you extend the arm and hold it correctly. And even the thumb, make sure the thumb is coming up with the hand. So outer rotation, straightening the arm as much as you can, and seeing that the skin of the back is still going down. So you can use the mat to make sure the shoulder doesn't come up. If it does, then just work here for a while. And then slowly come down here, and then slowly to the floor. Okay, and then we'll do the second side, same thing. Find out how to support the outer rotation so that you're not rotating in, right? So we rotate out. And so we come to the highest point. And here it's okay to breathe for a full minute and just to start understanding your holding patterns, your, where the pain is coming from. And if you can, give yourself some space in your back like we did with the elastic strap in the beginning. Give yourself a little bit of space. Breathe, lift the chest, make sure the skin of the back is going down towards the sacrum. Soft eyes, ears, and throat. Inhale, exhale, move the hand down a little bit further, and go ahead and grab your bar, your rope, with the palms facing the floor. And then all the way down, and straighten the arm. Okay, and then come up. And then you can just lay on the floor and take a few breaths and see how that feels. If you felt a cramp or anything like that, it's perfect. Just keep breathing into that cramp. Come out of it a little bit. Make sure you're not injuring yourself, but really measuring the tension in the eyes, ears, and throat will help. Okay, and then roll to the right and come out. Okay. Okay, so really looking at this outer rotation, and we can do it in so many different ways. The second way that I'm going to show you is also on the floor, and then we're going to bring it to the wall and then eventually to a hanging position that builds more strength, but also is teaching the body this outer rotation just with more in a more strength position, you'll see. Okay. I'm trying to move the chair. And for this one, I'm going to grab a block if I have one. You don't need one, but I'll show you how it can support your shoulder. Okay, so we come back to the mat and lay down here. Okay, and then make sure that the skin of the back isn't bunching up around the neck. So as much as you can, maybe scoop that skin down, not too much, a little bit. All right. And so again, I'm going to do this support with my opposite hand. So I'm going to rotate the arm out. So if I were to rotate the arm in, my palms are facing down. So rotate the arm out, palms facing up. And then I'm going to bring this hand to the floor. Okay. And then I remember, okay, is this out or in? So I bring my arm that straight and I notice, okay, yes, this is outer rotation. It can get confusing sometimes. Make sure that the elbow isn't pointing out, but it's pointing straight up. And keep that hand flat on the floor. So here, sometimes this is very intense. So inhale. Soften the eyes, the ears, and the throat. And then tell the mind to draw a boundary around that tension around the head of the shoulder. And start breathing into the boundary that you created, that the mind drew. Where is the biggest point of pain, tension? And then start breathing and bringing that softness, that release into that area. What you can also do here is use a block or a book or some kind of a height. And when you bring the hand to the floor, you put it on top of a block. So this can help a lot if there's a lot of tightness in there. And so slowly, as you work here, you come back, and you can do this with a block or without a block. And you start working on straightening that arm, but without, destroying your foundation, which is your shoulder shouldn't be coming up. You should be maintaining the outer rotation, and definitely the whole palm of the hand should be in contact with your block. So if your hand is starting to come off, or it's very difficult to keep the hand flat, then just work here for a few weeks, and slowly this tension will release. Maybe you'll change a gripping pattern or discover something in your shoulder that helps it to release. And slowly straighten the arm, helping the outer rotation, and you'll see that that really helps bring the arm back. All right, so we do one arm at a time, then we do the second side. Breathe, soften eyes, ears, and throat, and see, where the point is that you have to stop. So push that boundary a little bit, but within that space of softness and releasing, not in the place of forcing the flexibility or forcing the muscles to release, because it will actually, I think, create an opposite effect. Or if something is tight and cramping and you push it, it might hurt it or make it tighter. Just, so breathe into it and work on this in this laying down position. After that, just come up and we'll work on the same thing, but against the wall. All right. So against the wall, you can do it standing up. We're going to do it here from the sitting position, but you can also do it from a standing position. So same thing, find the outer rotation of the arm here, and then support it with your opposite hand. And you can put the hand completely flat against the wall. And here we're looking for making that contact with the hand, with the whole palm of the hand against the wall. And then making sure that there's not too much of this shoulder going on. So keep that shoulder release and relaxed. So that's where the work is, right? If we're doing this, we're kind of cheating. You're not getting that full release. If this is too difficult, so this is going to work your wrists, your hands, your arms, your shoulders. So it's a great place to breathe and release the tension. Find out where the tightness patterns are. If there's tension building up in the back of the skull, release that as you breathe out. And if it's too intense, go ahead and get a block, and you can get any thickness of block here. There's thicker ones, so find one that works. And you can place the block on the wall like this and do the same thing where we would breathe. And once we're able to come up without having the palms start coming, keep the palm flat on the block. So once the palm starts lifting, then you have to come back down and breathe a little bit more and notice, my goodness, there's so much tightness there. Okay, so this is a great way to work the tightness in the shoulder and start developing that outer rotation on the arms so that you can have a lot more free movement here. And this is a nice, safe way to do it. Start out on the floor or do both. It's something that you can take with you wherever you go. You can go, and if you have someone helping you, make sure you just get the outer rotation correctly. So test it out with a straight arm first, and then bring it back. And so if someone helps you here, make sure that that person knows what they're doing and they're not doing it too strongly. And work on the arm here. So I hope you really, really love this exercise. It's actually very effective, and it's not something that's done, it's not something that you need to put weight on or anything. It's just a release that can be very helpful. So let me show you the third version of this that we're going to be looking at today. And we use the best thing to use to do this next one is a door. a sturdy enough door that will hold your weight. If you don't have a door, an exercise bar is great. The only thing we have to remember is that when you put the hands back, the hands are coming like this. So if you're grabbing a bar, don't grab the bar with the palms facing forward. Make sure there's that rotation where you're grabbing it in this way. So I'll show you how to do that. So I won't show you on a door, but I will show you on the bar here in the wall. Okay, so I have a bar up there, and I come up here again. So rotating my shoulder externally, come up, grab the bar, including the thumbs. And when I used to do this on the back of my door, I used to put a little bit of a mat up there, and so that it wasn't so sharp. And every morning, after brushing my teeth, I used to hang on the bathroom door. So here you can lift your feet and you can hang. So when you hang, make sure that you're not opening the armpits like this, right? And almost having that feeling that you're dislocating your shoulder. So keep the integrity of the shoulder closed. Not see this is open. This would be, I'm really stretching out that area. I'm just keeping that armpit area closed and the muscle very protecting that joint. Okay, so I'm not stretching out the joint, keeping this whole system intact, and then allowing the arm to stretch and the arm to rotate out. Okay, so that's the hanging one. Okay, so now that we went through this sequence, we have a few minutes left, and we can go over using the chair to get this outer rotation. So that's a very fun one also, and very, very effective. Before we use the chair, I'm going to show you one way to warm up. So for this, you can use a stick or a broom or something, or you can use a belt. So I would start out with a belt, and you can hold the belt out as wide as you want. So in the beginning, wider is easier, but the secret here is keeping the arms very straight. Okay, so inhale, keep the softness in the eyes, ears, and throat, and bring the arm up. Okay, we can do this a few times, and you can, if that's easy, go ahead and bring the hands closer together. So bring the arms up. So what's happening in the shoulder blade? What's happening in the shoulder? Do you notice that you grip, there's something grip here the minute you decide that you're going to bring the hands up like this straight? So start breathing. If there's a tight spot there that's gripping every time you try to do this, breathe into it. Try to release that tension somehow. Okay? All right, so after we've done this a few times, we're going to bring the hands up, or we're going to bring the hands back. Excuse my camera. Okay, so bring the hands up, bring the hands back. Is there fear? Is there tightness? Do we hold our breath when we come back here? And come back. And if you need more space, just open up more, and then it's not so scary. Come back, and then bring the hands all the way back if you can. And when you're doing this, when you're bringing the arms around, don't turn the head. Keep the head facing forward. Inhale, exhale, then you can inhale again. As you exhale, bring the arm back and see how far back you can bring it. Do this really slowly and give yourself more space. If you do find, right there, I have a really tight knot. Can I give myself some more room in the shoulder, moving from the center of the spine like we did in the beginning here? And come back around. So if you want to try it with the stick, make sure that there's enough room for you to do this for your arm flexibility. And of course, you can move your hands closer and closer together as you gain more space in the shoulder. You can bring it up and down. And this is, there's a space here. We have to be very careful. If you're going to force something and hold your breath, or there's a big, big knot, make sure that you stop, give yourself more room, okay, so that you don't tear or injure yourself here. That this works the whole shoulder, the rotation, everything. It's really, really great. But you get, start incrementally just going above your head, noticing where those tight spots are, breathing into them. If you are able to release those fibers, then go further. If you're not, to stay here for a few weeks, and you'll see that slowly, just by breathing and acknowledging where those tight spots are, you might get a little bit of space so that you can go further and further and further. So however long it takes, don't hold your breath through this exercise, and it'll, keep that arm protected. I have certainly pushed it and really injured, just had to stretch it out for a couple weeks afterwards. So it's a great one, but it's one that you have to really do it breathing, do it carefully, and yeah. Okay, so let's use the chair. We are going to use the chair here. So if I have a chair, and this again can be maybe, a great way to sit on a chair anywhere in your living room or at work. So again, my arms are rotated externally here, and I'm sitting on the chair. Okay, and if this is too much, I can, of course, add some height here. I can add more height. Okay, and slowly, as I am able to really breathe into that tightness, breathe into the shoulder, I can go ahead and come lower. Again, lifting the chest here, making sure that I'm not collapsing my chest. There are exercises where you can collapse and lift, but I explained that in a different video. But what we're doing here is we're just collapsing. What I want to watch out here is the hyperextension here of the elbow. So if you tend to hyperextend the elbow, really watch that. Make sure that this elbow is maybe, give it a little micro bend. You want the arm straight here, but if you tend, my arm is not hyperextending now, but sometimes there's that tendency to do that. Make sure that you keep it not hyperextended. Even if you are comfortable with it, don't do it in this position. You don't want the flexibility of the elbow to take all the slack for the tightness in the shoulder, because that will hurt your elbow. Okay, and then you can add some height here. All right, and you can work here. Again, making, if you're starting to feel it on your elbows, just micro bend the elbows, but make sure that you're not hyperextending the elbow. And then eventually, you can keep learning this external rotation of the shoulder here. You can come back and grab the chair and work here. If you're feeling it on your elbows, go ahead and put a block underneath. And there we go. We can do it on both sides and really work the shoulders here. Okay, and here I'm looking at the camera, but when you're doing it, please face forward, especially if there's a lot of tension. Okay, you can go ahead and release from the chair. And then just to close off, I'll show you one last way that you can work with blocks in the wall that really help loosen up the shoulders and create that external rotation and a lot of relief. So I'm going to bring you closer. Okay. And we're going to come here. And I'm going to place 2 blocks against the wall. And I'm going to use these other ones to support my arms. So right here, I don't want this, directly on my elbow, but I can put it a little bit beyond it, in between the armpit and the elbow here. And I can sit in this pose where I'm sitting here on my heels. I can sit in Virasana here. Or if I need some support, I can add a block. Okay. All right, so I support my arms and I place the hands so that the fingers are pointing out. Again, externally and rotating my shoulders. And then I support the rest on the other block. And I can bring this a little bit closer so you can adjust until you find that spot that you feel really supported. So push the hands against the wall here. And then you can lower your head. Keep your hands in contact with the wall. And even if you need to, come out and adjust your pose, that's fine also. This guy's a little bit too further. And this is a great way to release. Okay, when you're ready, go ahead and come out. Okay, so those are a few things that you can work on to really help out with the shoulder and learning this external rotation, start breaking up any kind of adhesions that you may have here and creating space, mobility in the shoulder joint. So I hope this video helps you. I really do hope that the audio worked this time. I will see you next Monday at 11:30 California time in the morning. And I hope you have a wonderful week and that this video is useful for you. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching.